Hey everybody, it's Cody, Dixon RC here. So, I have finished the Cross FC6 6x6 truck. Well, not finished, but it's together. It is the way that I wanted as far as colors go. I did go with a white with a black accent kind of deal. All the rest of the stuff is black, the intake, everything else is black. White wheels for now. Don't know if I'm going to change them to black. I don't really know. I am going to change the tires because I cannot stand the wobbling that it's doing. But anyway, that's beside the point. So, I wanted to get into talking about this truck, about the build and how it went together. Now, the chassis, like I said before, is easy. Anybody should be able to build that, mainly because the axles and the transmission are together. You don't really have to do anything. They're greased, heavily greased. They're good enough. Should be good. The wheels and tires are a little bit to be desired because they're the 6-bolt and they bolt from the center. A little bit of a pain, but anyway, not too bad, but just aggravation. That's all it is. All right, so body, multiple pieces. I didn't count. Don't want to count. Period. Whatever. Lots of glue. I wound up building almost the entire thing with not the wrong glue, but the wrong style of glue. I guess that's the better way to say it. This is ABS, so they want you to use ABS cement. So I actually used a liquid cement that Testers makes. It's in a little bottle, but it's really liquidy instead of thick. So I used it. It built most of this stuff, most of the accessories. I think I put some of the cab together with it. But then I started to have problems with this stuff sitting and curing. Some of these pieces that are on this bed here started to come loose. I was like, man, the cab can't do that because it's got more parts in it, and that's not a good thing. So I was trying to figure out a way to do it. So I was talking with Nathan, Axle Twister RC, and we got to trying to figure out maybe I just had the wrong stuff. I don't really know. I don't think it's wrong per se. I think it's just not thick enough, because what it'll do is if you put two joints together and you do it and you mash it together, it runs, so it gets real thin, so it's not really that great. It worked, it's fine, most of the stuff will be okay. But I went back and I got some Testers tube glue, and it says it's cement for ABS models. It's for plastic models as well, but it's real thick. It's a real thick gel type stuff. I put most of the cab together. I redid a couple of pieces that were coming loose. That stuff is phenomenal. I don't know. I wish I would have used it to begin with because I was so aggravated doing it. The biggest problem with putting this together, the back goes together great. It's a little weird how you do all the little frame pieces in the bottom of the bed, but it works. The cab is like, it's the roof and the back is one piece. You have to add these side panels, and then you have to do the doors last, but then you put this front panel on, and this panel is aggravating. So it glues in the top and then it glues in the bottom, but it glues to this part of the interior, which is where the seats are and the dash is. So you have to kind of mash it together and then make this top piece snap together, which there's not a lot of room to put any clamps. I used a zip tie to get it to do, and I kind of held it as long as I could. I didn't hold it long enough, and here's why. I put the windshield in, it snaps in kind of, but you still glue it. I snapped the bottom in, snapped the top in, and when I did, the whole top part of it released from the cab, so I had to go in and kind of doctor that up. It does look kind of bad up here at the top. You can still see the glue because I was just trying whatever I could to get it to stick, and you talking about I almost gave up. I was almost done. It was very bad. It aggravated me a lot. So what I wound up doing was, though, is I finally got it to stick. The windshield is not in, it's not flush. There's kind of a gap, but it's not super bad. But it's not, you can't see it unless you look under anyway. So I flipped the cab over and set a bunch of wheels and tires on it to kind of just maybe make that stay together and let it sit for like 24 hours. And it's pretty much on there, even with these doors, because you can kind of see there's a little bit of a weird gap in the way they open and close. You know, they do open so you can see the interior. you know, but they like this driver's side one is very, it kind of rubs the cab in the front before it closes all the way. It's kind of iffy, but it's there. It's not going to get open that much. I still got to put figures in it and do that detail and stuff as well. The cab does flip forward. There's a little connector back here in the back that you move, and then you can flip that forward, just like the real one. The real one's a hydraulic though. This would be really cool if you could figure out a way, if there was room. That's another thing. This box is where all the electronics are in here, and it takes the light kit that comes, the light module that goes to this. Everything is shoved in there, and I'm talking about shoved in there. There's a 1080 in there, a receiver, that light kit. That light kit's a good, decent size. So there could have made that a little deeper, maybe, or something. I don't really know how they would make that work, but there's wires running all through the frame rails and everything like that as well. So I've got something a little too tight because it will not close all the way, so I'm just going to move that and then close it, you know, because it's really tight once it closes. The battery goes in the back. It's got a nice little plastic box that's a battery box. It does have a little latch, so you just have a hole where the wire will come in right there. I gotta take the bed back off and cut it. I did not do that, but it's pretty nice. I mean, you know, these seats do fold down back here in the back as well. The tailgate does not open, which is kind of weird. I figured they would have made that be an opening unit. I really do think that this is a very good scale model to the real one. The only thing that's different from this one to the real one is the motor cover. It looks like it's some sort of 4-cylinder. The real one does not have a 4-cylinder in it. It is a 6-cylinder Caterpillar motor, I believe. That's pretty much it. Everything else is spot on. The intake, the spare tire holder, the seats, the way they look, the tires are close. They're not exact, but that's okay. That's not, usually your wheels and tires aren't spot on anyway. The interior looks exactly the same. The mirrors, the way the bed does, the bumpers, everything else is exactly the same. All these little accessories, the gas cans and the little air tanks and the battery box and all that stuff is exactly what you find on the real one. I went down to our local reserve and looked around at one of these before I started building this one, I was trying to get color ideas, but we'll get to that later. You'll see why I chose white and black. But other than that, everything else is pretty good. You do these little hooks here, you do have to glue those on, and they are super sensitive. They do not like to be grabbed or touched. I've already got one that's broke back here in the back, so keep that in mind. You can't really strap a lot of stuff to it. You probably could, but I wouldn't do that. The other thing with this gray material this stuff is all made out of, when you paint it white, you have to really pay attention. I've got a couple of spots that didn't get a good layer of paint, but you can't really tell, and it's okay. The theme that I'm fixing to go with doesn't really matter. It's not really gonna show that much anyway. You're not really gonna be worried about that. So there's no running video of this yet. I've still got a couple of more little things to do, and then I'll get some running video. But what I was going to do was do some sort of size comparison to this versus like the King Kong 6x6, the Gen 8, like maybe the Rift, maybe my TRX4. That's really about all I've got. I don't really have any military trucks, or like Tamiya. A Tamiya truck against this would be cool. This thing is a 12th scale, but it is an exceptionally large 12th scale because the real truck is a very, very big truck. So really cool to see this against other things. This thing towers over the King Kong 6x6. I mean, this thing is massive. And we're going to weigh it as well. I have not done that, but it is a heavy, heavy boy. I did not put the front mud flaps. They go like right around here. I didn't do it. The way they connect to this metal piece, I didn't like. It makes them fold. It looks ridiculous, so I just didn't do it. I did put the back ones on it, but I'm not going to put the front ones on it. So just hang tight. I'm going to reposition the camera and we'll start doing some comparisons. So hang tight. All right, so let's talk about the Gen 8 and the size difference there. Most everybody knows the Gen 8's more of a bigger truck anyway because of the body. It makes it a very large truck, larger than most tent scale crawlers, kind of deal there. But this thing is just as big. So the cab is almost level. It's almost a little bit higher than the Gen 8 one. Length is way, way longer as well. Axle width is probably close to the same. I'm going to try and get it as close as I can. It's 215 millimeters. So yeah, it's a little, the Gen 8's a little bit wider, but not too bad. So height's about the same. So that gives you an idea of the 10th scale versus the 12th scale cross and the difference and how the difference of the two are. Not really anybody asked me about this, but most people were asking about, well, no, they were. I had some people ask me the difference in 10th scale versus, you know, what a 10th scale truck looked like versus it. So a lot of people thought this thing was going to be really small, based on it being, you know, when you see 12th scale, you automatically think it's going to be rather small, but 12th scale is not that much different than, say, a 10th scale one, so you kind of just got to go by that. So, you know, there it is, and this is the difference here, and I hope you guys enjoy the difference here, the comparison, and getting to see it done. There's way more to come. I've got way more stuff going on, trying to get this thing done. I will probably debut this thing at USTE for like the first time of everybody getting to see it. There will be videos coming out between now and then showing off different things that I'm doing, and there may be a reveal before that as well. So I don't know. We'll see. Depends on how it goes, and depends on how my filming goes and editing and production and all that stuff like that. Also got a story to write, so keep that in mind as well. So I hope you guys enjoy this. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, give me a comment, let me know what you think. It's pretty cool. We got one more project to do before USTE. It's going to be my trail truck for the weekend. It's coming. Hopefully it'll be here in the next week or two. We can get started on that. It's going to be a simple build. It's a Lexan build. Not going to be too hard, but it's still going to be pretty cool. So hang around. Appreciate it. Subscribe, you know, to catch up whatever it is I'm doing here. I'm going to try and do more. We'll see. Also, be sure to go and like the Facebook page, Dixieland RC, to get ready for Christmas, the week of Christmas giveaways, because the week of Christmas, every day we do a giveaway. It'll be a raffle drawing, but it's pretty cool. It's free for everybody to get in and do it. So be sure and go. You got to go like the Facebook page, though. So I'll have a link in the description. You can go to that, click on it. So thanks for watching, everybody. We'll see you next time.